Are you having troubles designing your multimedia content? Or are you finding ways to improve your current skills? If that's the case, then this video is perfect for you. The contents include an introduction, a brief description, and examples of the 12 principles of multimedia design, a short conclusion, a list of references, and the Creative Commons license for this OER. There are 12 principles of multimedia learning according to Richard E. Mayer. This principle aims to make your learning materials like videos, PowerPoint presentations, and many more engaging for your target audience. Ready to learn more? Let's get started. Assume that you're the audience and you're watching a math tutorial video. The first video is so full of text and complex visuals that it starts overwhelming you. Because of this, you decide to find another video with more simple text and visuals, which you find much easier to understand. This is an example of the coherence principle, which states that people learn better when extraneous words, pictures, and sounds are excluded. In short, include only the important informations. So, let's talk about the second principle, the signaling principle. This principle says that people learn better when there are cues that help them organize the material. To put it simply, if you were reading a book and it looked like this, and then it changed to look like this, you would see how much easier it is to understand, right? Next up, the redundancy principle. According to this principle, people learn better from graphics and narration than from graphics, narration, and on-screen text. It means that whenever you're making media content that has narrated audio, use only graphics or text, but not together. Make sure to also avoid redundancy of the information. This way, the information will be easier to digest for the learners. Take a look at these two visuals. Can you tell me what's the difference between them? This one has the text and graphics close together, unlike the second one. This is what you call the spatial contiguity principle, which states that people learn better when corresponding words and pictures are presented near rather than far from each other on the page or screen. The idea of temporal contiguity will be the subject of our next discussion. What is the primary idea behind it? Mayer asserts that when related words and visuals are presented simultaneously as opposed to sequentially, people learn more effectively. The best way to illustrate this concept is by doing a voiceover of this video. Let's start by having the audio and the visuals at the same time. Put some sugar, then add the flour, butter, eggs, and lastly the milk. Now, let's play the opposite. First, put some sugar, then add the flour, butter, eggs, and lastly the milk. After playing and watching the video, we can say that the first one is much easier to understand, proving that the principle of temporal contiguity is effective. Now presenting the segmenting principle. Mayer states that people learn better from a multimedia lesson presented in user-paced segments rather than as a continuous unit. By providing next buttons or other control functions, the learners are said to perform better after recall tests as stated by Debel 2022. When purchasing new appliances, have you observed the user manual? It can make it simpler to utilize the new appliances. This exemplifies the pre-training principle as described by Mayer. It suggests that individuals understand better from a multimedia lesson when familiar with the key concept names and attributes. To implement this principle, you may offer learner a guide that instructs them on the fundamental definitions, terminology, and concepts. Mayer also mentioned the modality principle, which basically says that people learn better when they see graphics and hear explanations instead of watching animations and reading on text screens. It is best to keep text on the screen to a minimum and focus more on using graphics. As a learner, which do you prefer? A book with only words or books with pictures? According to the principles of multimedia, learners learn better from words and pictures. I agree with this. From personal experience, I tend to get bored and sleepy if it's not interactive. The next principle is all about personalization. It suggests that people learn better from multimedia lessons when the words are more conversational rather than formal. For example, using professional language and complex words can be intimidating. On the other hand, a more casual and friendly voice can actually improve the learning experience. Did you know that humans learn best from a human voice rather than a robotic voice? Yes, this is what the voice principle is all about. When you're creating a voiceover or an audio, a human voice is much more effective. Alright, let's talk about the last principle, the image principle. According to Mayer, sticking the speaker's image on screen in a multimedia lesson doesn't necessarily make it easier to learn. Still, having some screen time for the instructions talking head video is important because it builds trust and credibility. Just don't overdo it. Keep the focus on the learning content and limit the talking head video screen time. Overall, Mayer's multimedia principle is very helpful in improving your designs. It serves as a guide for us to create material that enhances the learner's comprehension, retention, and overall learning experience. So here are the list of references that I've used in this video. The 12 Principles of Multimedia Design 2024 by Lindsay and Lontoc is licensed under Creative Commons Attribution 4.0 International.
I hope you enjoyed this video and thank you so much for watching.